And if Joe Biden is reelected as a senile man who doesn't know anything about what his government is doing because he's not in charge of it, then we will know one thing: democracy is fake. And no one else will imitate it. The only reason every other country in the civilized world has democracy is because we had it and it seemed to be working.
Last question. I have to ask this question. I didn't want to be political. I'm not going to ask you about your political ambitions because I don't know that you have.
My political ambitions?
Yeah, I don't think you have any.
Non-existent.
Okay. What happens in the next election? Who wins? Who runs?
In this election?
Yeah.
2024?
What?
I mean, the short answer is I don't know, and I don't want to pretend that I do because that would be dishonest. But I will tell you what my instincts are. I think Trump is going to win. And I think Trump, and I do think this is the actual referendum on democracy. A guy I know from Brazil, which is an amazing country, anyone who hasn't been there. And Brazil, I'm not going to get boring on Brazil, but it's very much like the United States, like to a point that it's spooky when you go to Brazil. You're like, oh, wait, I recognize this. Wonderful people, smart people. Total disaster in Brazil right now. And but they can see, people in other countries can see things more clearly, right? Like if you're ever on a plane and someone tells you his life story and you're like, oh, I know what you need to do because I don't know too much. I don't know all the details. I see the big picture and it's super obvious what you need to do. Other people see our country in ways that are just like in blunter terms, fewer details, and the outline is clearer. And this friend of mine from Brazil said, well, this is the referendum on democracy, this election. And I was like, well, isn't every election a referendum on democracy? He's like, yeah, strictly speaking, but this one is the last word in democracy because you have a senile president, and everyone knows he's senile. It's like, no, I mean, I'm not being mean, I'm just being honest. Like, look at him on TV. He's impaired. He shouldn't be in charge. He is weak. His weakness is the problem. His weakness, just weak leadership is the problem. It's always the problem. Everyone thinks it's bad leadership, evil leadership. No. Weakness. Weakness abets evil. Evil doesn't exist in the presence of strength. Only weakness. A weak leader, whether it's in the military, whether it's in business, whether it's in a family, a weak parent will destroy the children. We have a weak leader. Everyone knows that. One thing everyone doesn't want is a weak leader. He's literally senile. He can't get reelected. No free and fair election would produce a victory for him. Prima facie. If all I know about him is that he has dementia, I'm not going to vote for him. Add to that, obviously, a degrading economy, total chaos, an invasion, like all the... America's not gotten better in the last 4 years. It's become much, much worse. That's not a political statement. It's just true. It's measurable. Life expectancy has gone down. Suicide rate up. Drug addiction. It's like, name the measurement. They're all down. So if that guy wins, then there's no debating it. It's fake. It's a fake system. That didn't happen, okay? And the whole world will know that. There will be no more democracy globally. The United States invented the modern democracy. Of course, the Athenians invented it, but we, for thousands of years, no democracy till the United States. So the world looks to the U.S. to understand what democracy is and whether it works. And if Joe Biden is reelected as a senile man who doesn't know anything about what his government is doing because he's not in charge of it, then we will know one thing: democracy is fake. And no one else will imitate it. The only reason every other country in the civilized world has democracy is because we had it and it seemed to be working. We made Coca-Cola and the Chevrolet Cadillac, like, this is amazing. And now it produces Joe Biden? And even if you love Joe Biden, even if you're going to vote for him, you can't say a man like that could win in a free and fair election. He couldn't. And so I think it's the biggest possible deal. And I think it is going to be Biden. And of course, they're going to try and steal it as they stole the last one. True. And that's true.
You think they stole the last one?
Well, they did steal the last one. They did steal the last one, and they stole it, well, they did it right in front of us. Not just by claiming that COVID somehow required us to have mail-in ballots whose identities can't be verified. That's obviously abets election theft, makes fraud possible. No, they stole it by limiting the information that we had to make the decision about who to vote for. We couldn't read certain things. You can't have a democracy with censorship. A prerequisite for democracy is the free flow of information. If I don't know what I'm voting for, how can I vote for it? I can't. So if you have any censorship at all, you don't have a democracy. And we had mass censorship on COVID, on BLM. and on the Biden family. So like that's just a fact. It's verified. No one debates that. So that's not a free and fair election. They stole it. It's that simple. I don't know why everyone's like, well, you're saying the voting machines are rigged? Well, they certainly could have been. Any electronic voting machine can be rigged by definition. I don't know if they were. I don't have proof of that. But I don't need to have proof of that. They stole the election by censoring information that free American citizens needed to make an informed vote. It's that simple. So shut up.